Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United show on the channel. Late night show talking everything Manchester United tonight with you guys. And there's a oh, throat's gone. And there's a mass amount of news today. And I don't even know what, when you make a video and you don't even know what's the title or what's even made the thumbnail, because every single bit of news that comes out has been contradicted by another bit of news that's come out today. And I'm going with what the more reliable sources are saying. So we've got Italian sources saying we're putting a bid for Rasmus Hojlund. We're going to get Rasmus Hojlund deal done now. We've put in a 40 million bid. That's been rejected. We're going to put a 45 million bid. United to get Rasmus Hojlund for 45 million. You get one source saying that. You get another Italian source saying, yep, United are going to get the Onana deal done really quickly. Onana to United's going to be sorted. It's going to be bid tonight. Man United and Onana wrapped up. But then we get, no, United aren't going to get Onana. No, United aren't going to get Hojlund. And I was told he can't get Hojlund and Onana. Yeah, no, United don't have the money for Onana. We have to look at other keepers. So we have all these reports coming out that's going really well with Onana, really positive, talks are moving really quickly, 45 million deal, going to get it done with Inter, simple, bish, bash, bosh. And then we're getting reports coming out, oh yeah, United looking at this keeper, United looking at this keeper, they ain't going to get Onana, this, that. Oh, no, United can't get Rasmus Hojlund now, they can't afford him. No, United only going to get one more signing this summer. They need to sell players, FFP. If FFP is that big, why aren't we selling players like Chelsea were? And it's just the Glazers. It is just the Glazers going, well, we don't want to spend any money. We're not probably going to be here next season, so it doesn't matter if we spend or not. We're not interested. We're going to leave it 120 million set budget, and we're going to claim that FFP only affects us, because if we could sell effectively, we wouldn't have this problem with FFP. And the Glazers just seem to be making excuse after excuse after excuse at the moment for United. They seem to just have, the Glazers every day delaying the transfer, delaying the takeover, not doing anything with the transfer. There's reports coming out that Ten Hag wants to do this, Man United are going to do this, Man United are going to do that. And the Glazers make the decision to basically say to Ten Hag, apparently, you can't have your transfer targets, you're going to have to pick. Why would Ten Hag make Mason Mount his number one priority transfer this summer when we needed a goalkeeper and striker more than a midfielder? Apparently the board and the Glazers decided, no, you know what, you can't get an Onana and Hojlund now, you've got to pick. Wave goodbye to your transfer targets. This is what's coming out today, and this is what's really confusing, because one week we have one story, another week we have another story, and I don't even know what news to get into, because we've got some sources going, oh my god, Onana to United is moving really quickly, it could be a done deal. Apparently Man United are looking at making a potential proposal to bring Sabitzer to the club. I don't really see the point in that, to be honest. Don't think he was good enough. But that's just me being high standard and picky. And then, but yeah, one source is basically saying, oh, Onana's going to be done tonight, confirmed, United putting in a bid for Onana tonight. And the next source is coming out saying, no, United aren't going to do anything for Onana. Oh, Onana's too much this. Thank you very much, Neil, for joining the members club. Big up Neil in the chat as well. Elon on Twitter. I think that Elon Musk thing on Twitter is temporary, because if it's permanent, it makes no sense. If he's actually permanently limited us to 800 tweets, it makes no sense, because you're just going to get less viewers and your ads aren't going to do as well. Surely, I don't know. But let me share my screen with you. Let me actually do that. We will be going on the Twitter as normal. Imagine what I'll have to do in my live streams if Twitter gets shut down. It'll be my blurry screen, because I only start sharing my screen in live streams about a year ago, because my thing would be so laggy. I would used to read all of the tweets and not share them on my screen. I used to read all the news and then summarize it in my notes. But I'd be so laggy, I was like, I'll share my screen. So now we just use our live streams as like a Twitter thing. But yeah, Twitter's doing a mad one, isn't it, as well? I'll tell you what, can I quickly say something, actually? Funny story. There was some report that I read today. It was on Arsenal Twitter saying Arteta's planning a massive secret attacking transfer or something like that. And I saw these Arsenal fans getting gassed in the comments going, oh my God, it's Mbappe. Arteta's planning something for Mbappe. I've seen Arsenal fans acting like Mbappe's going to want to come play for Arteta. Look, you're building something exciting, Arsenal. But Mbappe's like, why would Mbappe decide, no, not Real Madrid, I want to come to Arsenal? But I tell you what, David said it right here. Too many sources. Glazers got the club on life support. Glazers are a joke. Too many sources this, too many sources that as well. Imagine if Elon Musk was Man United owner. He'd be making us pay, £10 to watch 45 minutes of the game, £20 to watch 90 minutes of the game, something crazy extra as well. Hojlund ain't from Holland. No, he's not. Hojlund's from Denmark as well. But as a big club that should be challenging City and Arsenal this season, we should get both Ramos, Hojlund, Onana, and another second keeper, and another midfielder, and another defender. I agree with you. I agree that we should do that, but United won't do that. Like, obviously, there is a limited budget reportedly in FFP, but if we're an efficient club, then we could afford to spend 250 million this summer. We're not an efficient club. We don't have ambition as well. It's not about just being efficient in the way we go around transfers, but it's being ambitious. I don't think United are going to spend particularly much money because I think the Glazers have decided they're not going to spend much money, and they will use FFP and every excuse in the book as a reason not to buy. Hojlund is dead. Did I say Hojlund was from? Did I say Hojlund was from Holland? I meant to say Hojlund is Danish. I don't know what I'm on today. I don't know what I'm on. Someone's put in the chat, Alice is drunk. Alice is not drunk. Alice is severely hungover today. That's why I look absolutely rough today. Last night was 4 a.m. Not for me. Too old for that now. Any news on the Qatari takeover? Yes. Yes, there's news. The same news that we've got every single day. Oh, the Qataris are confident, but Jim Ratcliffe's confident, and something will be heard soon. But nothing's heard. No, sorry to be sarcastic. No, but to be fair, the news that came out today, and I talked about it in my video earlier today, was from Ben Jacobs and some other sources saying the feeling is it's going to be Qatar or the Glazers stay. A lot of people are starting to rule Sir Jim Ratcliffe out of the race, which, you know, looking positive for Qatar. We'll have to wait and see. FFP is crap. Chelsea are buying no FFP. Arsenal spending no FFP. Glazers are greedy face. Yeah, how come FFP doesn't apply to Arsenal? You know, I mean, look, Man City got the 115 charges. We know that Man City don't ignore FFP as well. Hojlund's speed and scoring ability is way further from Gonzalo Ramos. I would go for Gonzalo Ramos over Hojlund because I think he's right now more ready to play for United. He's got a bit more experience in him. But I do think Hojlund's an absolute top player as well. Onana and Hojlund should be the next signings. Then we will see what we can do for sales. Doubt we're selling on. This is my thought process, okay? So Mount's 60 million, but the 5 million add-ons is trophy based. So Mount's 55 million. I think Onana will be 45 million. I think Mount and Onana take you to 100 million. Hojlund's about 50 million. That takes you to 150 million. You can get Mount, Onana, and Hojlund for 150 million. If we were a competent club, we could sell Dean Henderson for 30 million, but we'll get 20 for him. So then, if let's say we sell Dean Henderson, we sell Alanga, and we buy Mount, Hojlund and Onana, we can do that in the next month. And then you go sell someone like Maguire and you go bring in another midfielder. Or you go sell someone like McTominay and you bring in another centre-back, etc. Yeah, other way around. But you know what I mean? You know, I think that's what you do. You get rid of Dean Henderson and you sign the 3 players that Ten Hag wants. You get the money from Dean Henderson to cover the fee of signing those 3 players. And then you look at selling the likes of potentially Fred, McTominay, Maguire. When you sell one of them, you think, okay, I need to bring in another midfielder in. I need to bring in maybe another striker. Can we raise money for a striker? Can we sell Martial? I need to potentially bring in a centre-back. Because in an ideal world, if I was in control of United's transfer window, and if this was FIFA, and if we had Manchester City's crazy spending powers or Newcastle's crazy spending powers and owners, and there was no FFP, I'll tell you who I'd be signing. I'd be signing Harry Kane. I'd be signing Rasmus Hojlund. I'd be signing 2 strikers. I would have signed Caicedo on top of Mason Mount, you know, and if I couldn't get Caicedo, I'd go for Lavia. And then I'd be going, right, okay, Onana then. And I personally prefer Diogo Costa, but Ten Hag wants Onana. Okay, Ten Hag can have Onana. And then I'd have been hijacking Dewey and Timber from Arsenal. That's what I'd have been doing, right, if I was in charge. If you could do what you wanted in the transfer window, but unfortunately can't. Yeah, I would probably sell Alanga, but part of me thinks, you know, we could get 15 million at least for Alanga. I think we could be smart in selling him. United can get Gravenberch and Felix on loan. Potentially, United actually inquiring about bringing Sabitzer back next season. Now, I'll be honest, I don't want Sabitzer next season. Don't think he was good enough, didn't impress me enough. Had some good games, but was injured, but was mad, didn't impress me enough. Why spend 15, 20 million on Sabitzer when you know what you get? I'd rather save that 20 million, add the 20 million that we didn't spend on signing a proper striker in January, and go sign Lavia for 40 million if you want another midfielder in. Because I've always said, if United bring in another midfielder, for me, it's really important that we bring in a defensive-minded midfielder, a Lavia-esque player, someone that can cover Casemiro. Now, Lavia can't quite step up to Casemiro's level yet, but he has the potential too. Onana's not a given, but it would be a great addition to a great football team. And if successful, I hope the meaning of wearing the #1 jersey. I think Onana would be an absolutely fantastic sign for United. He's absolutely fantastic with his feet. Should I actually get into the Onana news? So basically, Fabrizio Romano said today, Andre Onana is open to a reunion with Ten Hag at United, and now it's down to the clubs to agree a deal. So Fabrizio Romano came out and confirmed Onana wants to come to United. Gazzetta, which is a decent Italian source, said that United are in a hurry to get Andre Onana from Inter Milan done, and a bid is expected in the next few hours. They put out this morning that United bid was expected tonight. I don't know if United bid's gone in. If it has, we haven't been told about it. But it was basically said Onana wants to come to United, and United bid's coming in tonight for Onana. That was essentially the news coming out. And then all of a sudden, we get told from Malik of the Mirror, Ten Hag has made it clear that De Gea cannot provide the ball-playing skills he requires for a keeper. And a lot of stuff came out about Ten Hag not wanting David De Gea. But then new stuff came out, like United are now looking at the final goalkeeper and the Eintracht goalkeeper, Kevin Trapp, to solve Ten Hag's headache, because they're saying, FFP restrictions coming out now means that United don't have 60 million to buy Onana. Now, I think the news coming out tonight that we don't have the money to buy Onana is a negotiation tactic to get Inter to lower the fee. Inter want £45 million. United's first bid will be £35 million. The second bid will be £40 million. And the third bid will be £45 million plus add-ons, and it will be a done deal. But, and United could save themselves the time of putting 2 rubbish bids in. But United are trying to play, can we get this deal for even cheaper? Is there a chance we can get an Onana deal over the line for even cheaper? So I actually think United have the funds to sign Onana. They have the funds to sign Hojlund. I actually think United just can't be bothered. I think the Glazers are thinking, right, what can we do to save any more money we can? This is our last summer at the club. What can we do to save any more money? Stop overspending, because it's not about FFP. We can't sell efficiently. 1 million for Zidane Iqbal, 800k for Ethan Laird. If proper club would have got 10 million for those two, and we got 1.6. 1.6. But, apparently we're looking at cheaper keepers to avoid an FFP headache. Well, if we're this worried about FFP, why aren't we making any effort to sell anyone? Why are we making no effort to sell anyone if we're this worried about FFP? I don't believe United have FFP issues, because if we did, why would Mason Mount be our first and only signing? And do you know what's annoying is we got told that United put in a 45 million bid for Rasmus Hojlund today. And then another source comes out and says, United can't afford Hojlund. Everything is different. But basically, I want to get into the Mirror story. And they said cash-strapped United don't have the money to deliver all of Ten Hag's summer targets. And they said a 60 million deal has been agreed between United and Chelsea for Mount. But that is half of the budget for United. And they've only got 60 million left, is what's coming out as well. FFPs is lies. I mean, look, there are FFP issues, but there's ways to get around it, longer contracts, ways United can get around it. And I think United make an excuse here, United make an excuse there, United like to make an excuse everywhere. Do you know what's interesting? I'm going to show you, this is going to summarize today's news, because I've been going on for like 12 minutes and I've not actually shown you it as well. So if I can find it here. I can't find it. One sec. This is when Twitter goes, you can't access this tweet. You've got your 600 limit. But yeah, so this was said today. Atlanta have rejected a 35 million bid from United for Rasmus Hojlund. Atalanta want at least 45 million for Rasmus Hojlund to be a done deal. So we're getting told Rasmus Hojlund, 45 million done deal, 45 million euros. So I read the story and I'm like, you're telling me we could get Rasmus Hojlund for about 40 million quid? I thought, that is too good to be true. There's no way United can get Rasmus Hojlund for 40 million quid. I did think that, but I was like, reports coming out, this could be a steal. 40 million quid for Rasmus Hojlund. Okay, and that's what we get told by decent Italian sources. Rasmus Hojlund, 45 million euros. Then 12 hours later, we get told from Laurie Whitwell the Hojlund's nearly 86 million. This sums up the news. As it stands, United are prioritising a new centre forward and have not held discussions with Atlanta about Rasmus Hojlund. United will not pay anywhere close to the €100 million, which is 85 million price being quoted to them. So this is what I don't understand, because 1 minute we're getting told that United are putting in a 35 million bid for Hojlund. That could be done at 45 million. And then we get another source coming out and telling us a couple hours later, no, he's 86 million. That's more than double. So how much is Rasmus Hojlund worth? For me, he's a £50 million player. He's great, but he's had one good season in him. He's not good enough to be worth more than 50 million. It's a potential player. It's United, so you can put the price up more. But this is why I'm so fed up, because we're hearing FFP this, FFP that. We're seeing United could do this, United could do that, but actually FFP this, FFP that. I think the Glazers are using FFP. I think the Glazers have done it again. But also what's winding me up is all these stories that completely differentiate. Completely like, you just don't know who to believe. I'm getting told 1 minute that we're putting in a bid for Onana and Onana and it's going to be done in the next 24 hours. And I'm getting told then a couple of hours later, no, you're not looking at other goalkeepers and Onana's off. And it's like, so are we getting Hojlund? Are we getting Onana? I think we will get Hojlund. I think we will get Onana. But what's the hold up now? What's our reason for not getting them now? We're saying we can't afford Hojlund or Onana. And it's like, well, you can. Maybe we could afford one and not the other. And if you could only bring Hojlund or Onana to United, who would you bring? Maybe we could only afford one and not the other. But United definitely making excuses as well. I don't like the Tuemi links. Looks like Igalo, Cavani, Ronaldo type signing. Those don't work. Get a striker in his prime. 100% for me, it's Gonzalo Ramos or Hojlund. I could do with Kane though. I think he's a different type of player in his prime as well. The Mirror constantly makes stories up, and I agree, the Mirror do constantly make stories up, so we do have to watch that as well. And maybe it's because United and they make up 99% of chances. I can't wait until it's over. I hate this crap every year. I know. I tell you what, I always knew United made up news. Ooh, one sec. I'm a bit sleepy for some reason. I feel like it's the hangover. Waking myself up. Oh, ouch, just bang my head now. But I always knew United love to put out news and make up stories in the sense of, I always knew, like, when United was signing a player like Bruno Fernandes, that they would then use one of the journalists to put out they don't have the money for Bruno, they're looking elsewhere. And it was like, actually United were pursuing Bruno Fernandes, but they're saying he's too expensive, they're looking elsewhere, and then they get a deal done for Bruno. This could be what they're doing with Onana, this could be what they're doing with Hojlund. But, I never knew how bad United were at stories until I started making videos on the transfer news. But for the last 2-3 years, while I've been making videos on United transfer news, it seems to be this long game of we go for a player, we want a player, we make a player a priority, we desperately push for this player. And then when we get into bids, when we get close into that stage of signing that player, we're then saying he's too expensive, we're going to walk away. We then get linked to a lot of other players, and then we go back and sign that player. I think with Rasmus Hojlund, he's not £85 million like Laura Witt was quoting. I think United is saying that as an excuse, and maybe they're asking for 85 million because they know United is stupid enough to pay that. But I don't believe that Rasmus Hojlund is 45 million either. I think Rasmus Hojlund you can get for 50 million, but I think a lot of the news that comes out, we are constantly lied to in the transfer window. People, Man United make out transfer news. United brief their journalists to put a story out because they want to stay relevant. United use certain stories as PR, as ways to talk about things. United were putting out that they're going in for Moises Caicedo and they won't go in for Mason Mount the whole of last week for United to go in for Mason Mount and have 5 million more and agree a deal halfway with Chelsea, even though we were saying, oh no, if we don't sign Mason Mount, we'll be walking away. Well, why haven't we walked away? You can always ask as well. Alice, do you think Man United are a better team than Arsenal? Not yet. I have to judge that after the transfer window. I think we've got better players. And the fact that I think our players at their very best are better than Arsenal players at their very best. But I still think we're a team of 11 individuals, while Arsenal are still a team as well. That news is fake according to United Stanley Hojlund. That price is way off. I mean, look, I think this news on the screen here is fake, but one story saying Hojlund's 45 million, one saying 85 million. I think he'll be about 60 million euros. That's what the reliable journalists have been quoting. And I think now that they're just trying to claim he's going to be even more as well. Hojlund loves Man United, according to Romano. Yeah, I mean, Rasmus Hojlund's a big United fan, following all the United players online, literally twerking and flexing for United. So I think the reason Rasmus Hojlund will be left to the end is because United know that Rasmus Hojlund would go here above anyone else. I think, the fact that we might need to get a goalkeeper first is because Chelsea could go in for Onana. I think Rasmus Hojlund is a United fan through and through. And just like Mason Mount, he's the type of guy to communicate with United and make it clear, like, I will come, this is the club I'll come to if you get the deal sorted. Whereas, oh, what's that? Whereas I think like other transfers, you look at a player that United are in for, but they might not necessarily be a United fan or have that much loyalty, and they speak to United for a little bit and United don't do anything, or United's bids are too low, another team comes in, they jump ship. Mudryk, was desperate to go to Arsenal. Mudryk was practically twerking for Arsenal on Instagram. Arsenal didn't put in the bid that they wanted, Donetsk, and actually, Mudryk's gone to Chelsea, That's the one thing as well. The Mirror's only looking for clicks and not reading as well. Alice, you can't believe any stories published. It doesn't make sense. They're just taking us for idiots. No, I'm going to clarify that. Like, a lot of these stories published in the media, I don't 100% believe. I'm going to clarify that as well. I'm just covering them and saying, like, this story I'm going to get up on my screen here, I don't believe. I believe the British sources over the Italian sources, unless it's like Romano or someone, just because the British sources more and they are briefed with the club. I don't know if I believe this personally myself, but it was said that United have had a 35 million euro bid rejected for Rasmus Hojlund, and they also said that they want 40 million for Rasmus Hojlund. Well, I believe they want 60 million, so I don't quite believe this story in all honesty about that. Guys, please do smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new, and share the video as well. I completely forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about Hojlund something put in the bid. I was literally. Do you know when you're about to say something? I was about to link what I just said to something else. I was literally about to say something. My head's just gone. But we'll talk about the Mirror being crap. I think this source is particularly crap. But it was said after this source that United have considered Rasmus Hojlund's price too high, and this is the thing. Like, I think it, we will be overquoted on it, but I think they will lower the price. It's not working. So my Twitter's not working. Is that going to work? Yeah, Man United have considered Rasmus Hojlund's price as too low. Is what's been too high. I've lost my head. I've lost my head for some reason. I hate it when this happens. I'll be live. I can't read out here, but bloody hell. Can't concentrate. But yeah, Man United have considered Rasmus Hojlund's price too high. 1 minute we're getting told Rasmus Hojlund's price is too high, and then we're getting told from low. Well, this is what I wanted to do. I realised what I was going to say. She's back in the loop. She's not gone loopy. Yeah. It was said new discussions with targets will determine whether the next recruit will be a forward or goalkeeper. The cost of players will influence the choice of clubs. For now, United prioritizing a new centre forward. This is what I was about to say. Okay, this is the news. Lots of fake news is being put out by the Glazers. The Glazers feeding sources, but the Glazers feed sources, particularly the British journalists, for a reason. You've got the Italian sources saying the talks are going really well between United, Onana, and Inter. The Italian sources saying United are going to put in a bid for Hojlund, United are going to put in a bid for Onana. United, as far as I'm aware, haven't put in a bid for Hojlund, haven't put in a bid for Onana because United take a while to put in a bid. The English sources are coming out saying, actually, this price tag is too expensive for Onana. United get linked to a load of other goalkeepers today. Oh, no, we can't afford Rasmus Hojlund. His price tag is 85 million, but another source today says it's 45 million, And United, I think, are deliberately putting out fake reports like, oh, he's going to cost 85 million, so we can't do this, and fake kind of stuff as a game of, we know the fans angry because we've done nothing with the takeover. We know the fans angry that other teams like Arsenal and Chelsea look set to show us up in the transfer window. And now they're going to go with you can only get a goalkeeper or a striker. Ten Hag's basically been told, unless we sell players, we can only get a goalkeeper and a striker. Why? They say FFP. If FFP is this big of a thing, why are we selling players for little to no money? Why aren't we trying to raise money? For me, it makes no sense as well. Hojlund loves the club. Hojlund is a big United fan as well. I'm just scrolling down the chat as well. It's every year. Someone said this is every year, Alice, and it is every year. United going for a player, United are consistently linked to a player. Then we get told United are pulling out the race for that player. And then United go sign that player, and actually they just pay a massive over fee. Seems to be the pattern. We have got news on some bits to United for 15 million euros. That I might get into it a little bit as well. This time of the transfer window, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt. The thing about supporting United is every story I feel like we've got to take with a pinch of salt, because I'm reading the news today. One source says we're going to get a Onana deal done now, and we're going to get it done quick, and the bid's coming in. And then the next source says, no, we're looking at other goalkeepers. We've been told we can only get a goalkeeper or a striker. We're not going to get a goalkeeper now. We might bring De Gea about this, might bring De Gea about that. I mean, there was literally a report that came out today saying, you know what, United might bring De Gea back. If I can find it here. This is it. This was the Laurie Whitwell report that really confused me today. And this was the Laurie Whitwell report that I just read, and I thought, well, this doesn't make sense to me. It was said here, raising funds through sales would allow Man United greater flexibility. Dean Henderson could not yet could yet return as number one for United if De Gea leaves or might be sold. With Nottingham Forest expected to bid, they would look at less than 25 million. So the problem with Dean Henderson is I think a competent club can get 25 to 30 million. United will probably get 15 million. A club that is talking about how much they need to sell and raising money through FFP probably will get 50 million mugged off. But this is what wound me up about United today. You know, we wake up this morning, United putting a bid for Onana today. The Onana deal is going to move quick, bish, bash, bosh. Laurie Whitwell, we come out tonight. We've been told that the meetings that have gone down between Onana, United and Inter have been really positive. Onana wants to come. The meetings are positive. United apparently informed Inter they were going to pay the money. But then we get the British journalists coming out saying, oh, Onana's not quite a priority. United haven't actually decided if they're going to go for Rasmus Hojlund or Onana. Apparently, we're only going to get one of the other of Rasmus Hojlund and Onana. But then we get told stuff like, you know what, De Gea's gone now, but you know what, we'll speak to him after his holiday. This is what I find embarrassing. You either tell De Gea in May he is gone for good, give him a farewell, bye-bye, adios, or you don't give De Gea a contract and then not sign it off and then wait for his contract to be expired and sign De Gea again. Is United doing this so they can claim De Gea as a new signing? Do you know what I mean? It's like, are we trying to claim De Gea as a new signing now? He's walking away on a free. Are we gonna sign him back when he's a free agent? If De Gea is a free agent and he's not getting many good offers and he comes back to United, it tells you everything you need to know on David De Gea. But I think we need a new goalkeeper, but I do like David De Gea, and I think David De Gea will be stupid, absolutely stupid in my opinion, to be released from United and then let United bring him back because they can't get a goalkeeper in Onana. I think this Laurie Whitwell report that's come out is something that's been fed to them by the Glazers, by the board, as a negotiation tactic. I think United have a lot more funds than they're letting on in the media. I think United have a lot more funds than they claim. United are claiming they can only get one of Hojlund and Onana, and they might even walk away from both. You know, they're Ten Hag's two targets. I think United have the funds to get both. I think we might have to sell just to get that over the line, but I think United do have the funds to get both Hojlund and Onana. That's who Ten Hag wants. Hurry up. Get it done is my feeling. Stop this, or we'll keep De Gea around just in case we don't get Onana. Stop making us choose. Get Onana, get Hojlund, sell some players, get another midfielder in. That's what I want to see this transfer window from Man United. Should wait on Onana and sign David De Gea for one more season. We don't have the funds in the transfer window to complete team. I think we do have the funds. I think they're lying, using FFP as an excuse. 45 million is a good deal for Onana. Well, reportedly, Onana will be 45 million. Which I think is an absolute steal, but then another source is saying 85 million, so we don't even know. But Rasmus Hojlund is nowhere around 85 million, about 40 to 45, 100%. That's just Man United tax. If that Laurie Whitwell report is true and they've asked 85 million for Hojlund, that's United tax, because they only wanted 60 million euros from not that long ago, which is 50 million pounds, which is a slight overpayment, but it's United as well. Roberts said depressed now, switching off. It is depressing supporting this club because 1 minute you get one story that's really positive, the next minute you get a story that's negative, and the stories don't make sense. De Gea could return. De Gea's gone, but De Gea could return. Cool, that's the story. United are going to make a bid. Yeah, but they haven't made a bid. That's the story. United are going to sign this player. They don't sign this player. That is the story. You know, that is the story of the transfer window. Too much fake news coming out as well. What other strikers are out there, Alice? So United's number one priority seems to obviously be Hojlund. But I believe that we are looking at Gonzalo Ramos. We are a big fan of Victor Osimhen, but we don't think that will happen. We're a big fan of Mbappe, but we know that won't happen. I think Kane, this guy, Hojlund, and Gonzalo Ramos would probably be the ones to keep an eye out for as well. Guys, keep smashing the like button, and of course, subscribe down below if you're new to Alice Talks Football. But if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, make sure you're subscribed as well. We've got a few things to talk about. I'm sorry if I've been a bit weird this live stream. I don't know why, but sometimes when I go live, I just get so tired, and then I start saying something. But because you get tired, it's like you forget what you're saying. I start saying something and I forget what I'm saying as well. We should sign Hojlund, but I don't think we will. Ten Hag, but this is what I wanted to talk about, and this was the title of the video. Ten Hag has made it clear: Mount, Hojlund, and Onana, 150 million combined. You can make 30 million sales. That's my 100 million budget. We'll see what we've got left in August to do something last minute. Mount, Hojlund, Onana. All right, Mount's done perfect. Bish bash boss done. Signed out. Didn't pay the 70 million. Got for 60 million. Slight overpayment, but it's done. Mount's medicals in the coming days, and Mount will be announced as a United player. And then you see, okay, Mount's done. It seems that United are having meetings with Inter for Onana. It seems that United are ready to move quickly for Onana. So United have some meetings with Inter about Onana. We get told United are going to make a move quicker than that. Oh, but United might start looking at other goalkeepers now. Oh, this player's cheaper, this player's cheaper. It's mind games. It's not fair on Ten Hag. He wants Onana. He's 45 million. That's a good price. Get Onana. Rasmus Hojlund's been quoted at 40 million pounds today and 100 million pounds today. I think he'll be in the 60 million mark. Then go get Rasmus Hojlund. It's so important that the board go out and get Ten Hag's targets. You know, they've told him he would. He's made his targets. He's made his targets clear. And unfortunately, I think the Ten Hag's targets are going, and I think that Ten Hag is fed up. I think Ten Hag is fuming. I think he's thinking this takeover has been going on so long. I don't know what's happening, but this is affecting my transfer window. That's what they're saying. This is essentially just impacting Ten Hag's transfer window. 7 months of salt. You know what? This is a proper comment here. I'm sorry I'm 5 minutes behind on the live stream, but this whole takeover saga, all the transfer news, is 7 months of takeover a pinch of salt as well. Ten Hag will only buy players that suits the system. Trust in our manager. Whoever he brings in will be part of the team. That's what I'm saying with Mount. Mount was not my ideal transfer signing for United, but Mount was who Ten Hag wanted. Clearly, Ten Hag wants Mount more than anyone else because he's our first signing. You've got to respect it and hope it works. I don't believe a single story until at least 4 journalists all singing the same sheet. 99.99% transfer news over the last 10 years never materialised. Unfortunately, yes, and some of it could have materialised, but United are inefficient. United is manipulating things in the British media like they're doing this whole FFP thing. As you said, why are we not selling for good money? Exactly. United will have FFP issues, but that's their fault. That's your fault, John Mercer, for being incompetent at selling. You can't use FFP as an excuse not to spend this summer. Look how much money Chelsea have made in sales. You just need to be better at selling players, and you can still buy a lot more players than you're making on. But you're leaking to the British media. The Glazers are leaking to the British media. Oh, United can't spend because of uncertainty of ownership and FFP. In fact, United can spend. They won't spend. That's why they've got Mount. They could get Hojlund and Onana. They're playing that you only get one of Hojlund and Onana. No, you get both. You sell some players and you potentially bring in Lavia, because we need a defensive-minded midfielder as well. Imagine being Ten Hag lose my hair. I mean, Ten Hag's already lost it, and that was before working for the Glazers. I'm surprised he isn't even his baldness now. Don't need another midfielder. I personally think on top of Mount, we need another midfielder as well. We paid 40 million for Ahmad. I think we only paid 18, and it goes to 38 million in add-ons if he hits certain high things. So I don't think we actually did pay 40 million as well. Keep smashing the likes, keep subscribing. I'm a little behind on the live chat, so I do apologise for that as well. Someone said Taremi's most similar to Harry Kane. Not watched him, so can't tell you that as well. Could we afford Ramos and then Hojlund? I doubt it, but I wish we could. But we don't want to be spending money. We're coming out. One story comes out and says Onana deal's nearly done, Hojlund deal's nearly done. Next source coming out, United have decided they can only sign one of Hojlund and Onana. Tell me in the chat, people. Actually, tell me in the chat if you could sign only one of Rasmus Hojlund and Onana, who would that be? Who would that be? Apparently we can only get a goalkeeper and a striker. Rasmus Hojlund or Onana. Who would that be? I've heard Inter are interested in Lindelof. We could sell maybe a centre back because Ram gets injured. It's peak. We could sell and get the centre back. Look, this is the thing, and I was discussing this earlier with someone. I think Ten Hag wants Maguire and McTominay gone, but if Maguire and McTominay go, you've got to get another midfielder on top of Mason Mount and a centre back. I think Ten Hag wants Maguire and McTominay done this summer. I think the board can't be asked to replace them with a centre back and another midfielder, and it's like keep them as bench players. That's actually what I'm hearing at the moment. That's why Lindelof is more likely to be sold. That's why Fred's more likely to be sold than McTominay, because they're happy of keeping the other players as bench players. Keep smashing the likes, of course. Subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video as well. I can't remember what I just said. Something about bench players. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Oh, so yeah, Maguire and McTominay might stay. That was what I was saying. So one of the reports that came out today was suggesting. My throat's completely gone. Sorry, I can't speak. Hangover not treating me well. One of the reports today was suggesting that if Man United sell Maguire and McTominay, they might not have the funds to replace them. United's thought process is sell Dean Henderson, sell Fred, because they see McTominay as Casemiro backup and Mount as Fred's replacement, essentially. I would have sold McTominay over Fred because you can get more money for McTominay, and I think Fred's better. But the thought process going on at United is sell Elanga, sell Dean Henderson, sell Fred, see if we can sell Tellez, Williams, Bailly. That seems to be the thought process at United. And then, actually not sell McTominay and not sell Maguire, because if we sell McTominay and Maguire on top of that, we've got to buy a centre-back and another midfielder. It is, we sell those players like Henderson and Fred, and we bring in Hojlund and Onana, Mount, and then that is it. When we could be selling those players, bringing in Hojlund and Onana, Mount, selling Maguire, selling McTominay, bringing in a better centre-back, bringing in Lavia, a better player to offer Casemiro cover. But unfortunately, I don't think that's what United are going to do. Chelsea have made 200 million in sales. A couple of them were dodgy Saudi sales, but look, they've done really well, Chelsea. 60 million for Mount, 65 million for Havertz. And we're saying we'll get 40 million for Sancho. If Havertz is going for 65 million, we can get 60 million for Sancho. And I would have taken 50 million for Sancho. There are reports that Ten Hag's not actually that interested in keeping Sancho, but there's also reports that Ten Hag doesn't plan to use Amad Diallo. So many confusing reports coming out as well. Ten Hag needs to go fund me. I think Onana is done next week. Here we go. Do you know what? I'm kind of with you on that. Hopefully, I'm allowed to see the tweets. I'm kind of with you on that, because if we go through the news here, the prospect of signing a goal scorer is why one-on-one talks are planned with David De Gea once he returns to England. If United sign a goal scorer, the club may not be able to sign a number one. Reports coming out obviously saying we get a striker, we get a goalkeeper. We've just had 2-3 days of really positive talk with Inter Milan, where things are going really well, and we've basically told Inter Milan we're serious and it's expected United will put in a bid. So now saying United aren't going to sign a goalkeeper, they might get a striker instead, they can't get both. I think this news is deliberately coming out today because Laurie Whitwell gets briefed by the club to try and make out to Inter we're poor. Inter will have set 45 million, which is a good deal, but United would do anything to be stingy and save 10 million. So I think the news coming out today saying United don't have the money to sign a striker and a goalkeeper, they might bring De Gea back now and get a striker instead. It's interesting that this is coming out the night that we've just had really good talks with Inter. Makes me think this is a game to try and get the price lowered. United could raise funds, but, potentially, we use Dean Henderson next season, or we can return to Gea as number one. United are playing that actually the funds we have, we might invest on a striker if Onana is too expensive, because we've also been said that United are now looking at cheaper alternatives than Onana, because we don't need to worry too much about a keeper, we're claiming, because we can have Dean Henderson next year or bring back De Gea, is what United are claiming. And I think United is doing that on purpose to see if they can get a cheaper deal for Onana, see if they can riz something up in the sense with Inter going, oh, actually, we can only give you 37 million for Onana, not 45. We don't have the money. We've got alternative goalkeepers we're looking at. If you don't accept this, we'll go look at alternative goalkeepers, or we could just keep Dean Henderson. United are trying to appear that they're not bothered if they get a goalkeeper or not, and actually they might make striker priority of a goalkeeper after they've had 2 or 3 really positive days of talks with Inter. I think it's a game we're going to put in our first bid. I think before we put in our first bid, we play this game that we're broke to try and increase our chances of them accepting this first bid. Because if you go in now, it's saying, United don't know the budget, this and that. Rasmus Hojlund price is too high. But yeah, this report that United are looking at Feyenoord keeper, which, United are looking at other options. United are keeping their options open. I think it's a game from United. I think it's a game from United. A lot of you are saying you'd rather get Onana than a striker. More people going for a goalkeeper over a striker. Hojlund, if I have to pick, we simply don't have a striker. A lot more. I know we don't have a striker, but the thing is, a lot of you want a goalkeeper now. The thing is, I'm happy with both, but I'm like, at the end of the day, if we don't get Onana, we can bring De Gea back, and we've got Dean Henderson, who's a lot better with his feet than De Gea. Whereas if we don't sign a striker, it's breadstick legs and Rashford at position. But I do think goalkeeper could have a bigger impact on the squad than striker, which is crazy considering we create a lot of chances and we're not scoring the goals. And the reason I understand why actually more people are saying bring Onana in and not Hojlund, if they could only bring one of Onana and Hojlund in, is because if you get a good goalkeeper that's good with their feet, it really improves the defence, the back line, which was solid last season anyway. But the way we play out from the back, the control, the way we can pass the ball, whereas a striker is about, giving them the service. Well, if you've got a good goalkeeper, if you've got a good midfield, if you've got a good structure, the striker's going to get more service. They always say when you start building a team, you start building out from the back, because that is the base. You need the good backline, you need the good goalkeeper. And once that's gone, you've got that solid core, then you need a creative player in midfield, you need a goal scorer. But there's always the idea of when you start, you build from the back, because I think Anthony was a good signing from Ajax, not for the price. I think Anthony's a good player and could be a good signing from Ajax, is what I mean. But, you know, had we invested the Anthony money in potentially a good goalkeeper and another defender and a good midfielder to help with control, and then we brought in Anthony this summer, he might have had a better first season. Because I always feel like Anthony was a finished product signing. Harry Kane is finishing the product signing, but the product isn't finished. We don't have that goalkeeper. We still have a presence missing in midfield, and we potentially need another centre back. So there is the feeling of, actually, should we get this all sorted before we bring in a keeper? So I get why a lot of people actually would choose Onana here as well. Keep smashing the likes as well. I think I would probably go with Onana ahead of a striker. I think if the striker was Harry Kane, if it was between Harry Kane and Onana, I think I would go for Harry Kane, because he would just have an unreal impact. And I like Rasmus Hojlund, and I think he's a fantastic player. But I think Onana would have more impact than Rasmus Hojlund next season, which I know I just said we create a lot of chances and don't score goals. But yeah, if we can supposedly afford Ramos, then we can afford Hojlund and Taremi combined. Surely it's roughly the same price. I think United can get Onana, Hojlund and Mount for 150 million combined. I reckon we can get Onana and Hojlund for about 95 million. I reckon we can get those two players for 95 million, Onana and Hojlund. United are claiming they can't afford them. I think United can afford them. I think United can sell Dean Henderson. I think they can sell Fred. I think they can sell Elanga to help raise the money. I think United can do a deal for both Hojlund and Onana, and I think United will do a deal for both Hojlund and Onana. But I think this is Glazer games. Oh, Ten Hag, we've got to choose striker or goalkeeper. Let's pretend we're really broke. It could be a sales tactic of pretending we're really broke, pretending we've got cheaper goalkeeper options to make sure that we don't have to pay that much for Onana, we don't have to pay that much for Hojlund. Like, I know we have FFP, but I'm not interested in this FFP story. I think it's all a negotiation tactic. And unfortunately, I just wish United would go into tonight, 45 million, 5-minute add-ons, take it or leave it, into will upset that, boom, Onana's a United player. I wish we'd go then to Atalanta, 50 million for Hojlund, take it or leave it, boom, Hojlund's a United player. Okay, we've got Hojlund and Onana mountain all for pre-season, perfect. Oh, okay, you know what, Fred, you can go for 20 million. Dean Henderson, you can go for 20 million as well. Oh, the money we've got from Fred and Dean Henderson, oh, that's fine, 120 million, that's been sorted. How can we raise more money? Elanga, 15 million, Maguire, 25 million, McTominay, 30 million. Okay, Elanga, McTominay, Maguire have gone. Let's bring in Lavia. Oh, can we stretch to another centre-back? Possibly not. Can we get a sell for, you know, Bailly and Tellez and Williams potentially? Can we make a bit more money? Okay, let's just stretch the budget, bring in that centre-back, because it's not going to impact FFP. But I don't think United will do that as well. Alice, good job. Love your analysis. Big up everyone in the chat. Alice, the feed is blurred. Is it still blurry? Is it okay? Again, sorry if I've got my head back. I've got my head back now, but I'd say like 10 minutes ago in the live stream, there was like a 10-minute period between like 20 and 30 minutes into the live stream where Alice was like, you know what, Alice, that hangover was making me fall asleep. So hopefully I wasn't whiffle waffling, because sometimes I start saying it. Sometimes this is the problem with me. Sometimes I get really tired in the evenings. Well, I'm live and I start saying something, and then when I'm saying something, I forget what I'm going to say with my point. I start making a point and I forget how I'm going to continue the point. Or when I start continuing the point, I forgot what the original point was. And I was doing that earlier in the live stream, but I hope I sound like I'm making more sense now. So big up everyone in the chat as well. Lavia is better in DM. Yeah, and the thing about Lavia is you can be guided through Casemiro. Man City had Fernandinho, a fantastic player, and they brought in a really young Rodri. The first season, Fernandinho kind of played and Rodri played a bit. And then by the time Fernandinho was set to retire, Rodri was ready to come in. United should be doing that with Lavia, because he could be an elite number 6 in the future as well. 600 people watching, less than 200 likes, so please do smash the like button as well. Some people don't understand how important it is to have a sweeper keeper who's press resistant like Onana, especially with the way that Ten Hag wants to play. That's a very good point there from Yash as well. The funny thing is, a modern goalkeeper could produce much more goals for the team. It will change the whole thing, actually. And I agree. I think potentially if it's Harry Kane, you choose him over Onana. But if it's Hojlund or Onana, I think Onana would have more impact as well. Onana means we can play 15, 20 minutes higher on the pitch, win the ball back better and create more chances. I do think we're going to be a much more better team. I think the better you are at the back, the better you are in control, the more chances you create. I said we do need to strike 100%, but if you improve the spine, had we signed Moises Caicedo, Kim Min-jae or Jurriën Timber and Onana and not signed a striker, I still think we'd score more goals because we would create a lot more chances. Strikers always, I think, how you polish it. How you polish a team as well. United have 110 million budget and spent half the money on Mount, reportedly, which is embarrassing. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that we have 120 million budget and we spent half of it on Mason Mount, which is an Eriksen replacement. Because why would an Eriksen replacement be the number one priority to spend half the budget on when we did need a midfielder, but we also need a striker and a goalkeeper? It's very obvious we needed an Eriksen replacement, a striker and a goalkeeper. They're the three main areas, but also cover for Casemiro fourth, centre-back fifth. I think the reason we didn't get Kim Min-jae, and Romano said this, is because United wanted Kim Min-jae, Ten Hag wanted Kim Min-jae, but they didn't know by the time July 1st comes around, which is now, Kim Min-jae's release clause is active now, if they would have the funds to pay 40 million. Had Maguire been sold for 35 million, let's say last week or 2 weeks ago, United could have signed Kim Min-jae, or United could have done something for Jurriën Timber. But United are at this kind of conclusion and mindset of actually maybe keep Maguire so we don't have to replace him. So United aren't looking so much at centre-backs. It's very much, United focus on goalkeeper, striker, midfielder. I don't know if we spent half a budget on an Eriksen replacement. I think we've got more budget than we claim because FFP can take us up to 200 million, not 120 million. I think we've got a lot more budget than we claim. I think part of it is the Glazers don't want to spend money because they know they won't be here next season, so the success of the team doesn't matter to them, and they want to hold on to any bit of money they can. But I think the other reason is for United not wanting to claim that they can't spend an FFP. I think it's partly a negotiation tactic to try and get better, to try and not overpay for transfers, which, Ed Woodward did set us up for the team that always overpays for transfers, but, we need to be more efficient. 100%. New owners come in, new board. Completely change the structure. I want new board. I want new everything. People keep saying blurred. I'm really sorry if the quality is bad as well. I understand Ten Hag buying Mount because we all know Eriksen can only play 60 minutes. That is the thing. The interesting thing, though, and hear me out on this, but I always wanted to see Donny in the Eriksen role because whenever Donny played, he was playing for Bruno. Donny's not Bruno. Donny in the Eriksen role, deeper. Donny's not really played football for 3 years. So I think Donny is finished because I think we've ruined his career. I really do. But if anyone could get Donny back, it'd be Ten Hag. And it sounds crazy. And the reason I wouldn't have made Mason Mount a priority, and maybe this sounds mental, is because part of me had a belief that Donny could do that Eriksen role. Part of me does. If I'd have signed a midfielder, it'd been Caicedo. And I would have gone, I'll sign Caicedo because he can play next to Casemiro and do the Eriksen role. He can cover Casemiro. And then if worse comes to worse, we can try Donny in the Eriksen role. Mason Mount's coming in to do the Eriksen and Fred role. Cool. Mason Mount's a good player. I'm not complaining with that, but 60 million could have just, for me, I would have spent 80 million. I would have spent 20 million more and got Caicedo. And then I would have got Caicedo. I would have got Onana and I would have got Hojlund for Ten Hag. And then I would have kept Donny. That's what I would have done, which might sound crazy. I wouldn't have spent 60 million of the budget on Mount, but Chelsea player of the season twice when they were European champions. Very good player for Chelsea, very young. And the thing about Ten Hag is he wants this guy, he rates this guy. And if this is what Ten Hag wants, and this is who Ten Hag views as that Eriksen replacement, then I'm for Mount because apparently Ten Hag views Mount as possessing Frankie de Jong-esque qualities. If Ten Hag can turn Mason Mount into Frankie de Jong and improve him defensively, love that. But don't think it happening. If I was to sign a Chelsea midfielder, we'd never get him, Enzo Fernandez, Frankie de Jong, Moises Caicedo, they would have been my top three midfielders for United to sign. The only realistic one was Caicedo, but we went for Mason Mount as well. Kim Min-jae wanted regular football, which was not certain United. I think he would have started to come in for Varane, considering his injury record. Onana and Mount come in means we play gegenpressing like Liverpool now. I think generally we'll play a lot better football with Onana and Mount in the team. The only problem is Mount the guy that's going to come and receive the balls off the centre-back, keep the ball well, control? I'm intrigued about Mount. I think if we play Casemiro, Bruno, Mount in midfield, I think Luke Shaw will be starting to play as inverted fullback. I'm intrigued about what we're going to do with Mason Mount, to be honest, as well. Some people say Donny is done. Look, Donny could be done, to be honest. Donny couldn't even play for Everton. And look, you're probably right. You're probably right when you say Van der Beek's done. there's a part of me that believes. I don't know. I felt so bad for Donny because I feel like as soon as he got the chance and he played well, he got injured. He keeps getting injured and then he never gets the chance. I think because he didn't play football for so long, when he starts playing again, his body's not used to it, he keeps getting injured. But I just remember, and this sounds crazy because one game, but we played Watford, the Ollie sacking game, and McTominay was having an absolute stinker. McTominay and Maguire, who were the players that Ollie would never drop. Ollie would never drop McTominay. Ollie would never drop Maguire. Those two players, McTominay and Maguire, they were playing every minute of every game and they were stinking it up. Maguire, I think, got sent off or scored an own goal or something, can't remember. And McTominay was crap. Ollie's two favourite players got sacked against Watford. We lost 4-1. Donny comes on for McTominay at half time. Donny, Bruno, Fred midfield three, I think it was. Fan bloody tastic. Donny man of the match. Looked brilliant. I thought, use Donny and Bruno and a DM. Not done that since. Donny came on when we beat Newcastle 4-1. The season we came second. Donny, Bruno, linking it up with Rashford when we played a little triangle a couple of years ago. Fantastic. Donny, when he plays for Bruno, crap. When Donny plays with Bruno, crap. He gets lost. He's not Bruno. When Donny plays with Bruno a bit more defensively, I see a player there. But we very rarely see that player because he very rarely plays. He's always injured. And when he does play, he often plays in the Bruno role. So I think Donny is finished. I think Donny is done. But you know when you see those glimpses of him and you think, Ten Hag's here, there could be a chance. But I think with Mason Mount coming in, that would be Donny gone as well. Donny was never an Ollie signing. He brought him to shush the fans because we wanted signings. Yeah, Ollie wanted Grealish, not Donny. Donny is smart, but players are dumb. I think Donny was too intelligent in a weird sense of he's an Ajax player and we were playing Burnley football under Ollie at points as well. Big up everybody in the chat as well. Alice, do you think Martial will step up next season if you don't get injured? I think he'll get injured. That's the thing. So no, I think he's been injured so much. He's missed so much football. He's slower. He's not that guy. I like Martial. He did actually get quite good goals and assists per minute ratio because he barely played. Martial's too unreliable for me. I think that Martial can play well and you're like, this is a player. But for me, Martial's too unreliable. Donny clearly finished in Premier League. I do think La Liga would suit Donny more. There was rumours of him going back to Ajax. I hope he can get a team where he revives his career. You know what I'd love? Is Donny to leave United and be brilliant. And we'd say, we never gave Donny a chance and we let him go. And we'd all complain. But it'd be just nice because I feel bad because Donny was mistreated by this club if he would be fantastic elsewhere. I don't like saying it. When a player flops at United, they go elsewhere and they're unbelievably good. And I think, another United mistake. But Donny's one of those players that's not worked at United. And to be fair, I want all of our players to be good when they move on from United, unless they're going to a direct rival. But Donny's one of those players that I think you just want him to do well. Do you know what I mean? You just do. Mount is our player now. We should back him up 100%. I'm with Yash on this. Would I have signed Mason Mount? No. Would it have been my priority? No. Do I rate Mason Mount? It's a good player there. I've watched a lot of Chelsea. I watched a lot of Chelsea when they won the Champions League. Mason Mount was not last season, the 2 seasons before that. Mason Mount was a very good player. He was Chelsea player of the season 2 seasons in a row. He was a very important player. Lampard loved him. Tuchel loved him. Tuchel's a good manager. He's 24 years of age. He can only get better. Luke Shaw and Rashford were crap last season. Luke Shaw, Rashford and Bruno were awful last season for Man United. Luke Shaw, Rashford and Bruno have been 3 of our best 5 players this season, bar Leach and bar Casemiro. That could be Mason Mount. Awful season at Chelsea. Like Rashford was awful last year, has a big improvement. Ten Hag's capable of that. Ten Hag's capable of improving players. He's got a plan for Mount. Mount wanted United for a reason. Ten Hag spoke to him. So I'm going to be positive with Mason Mount. I do think we need a defensive midfielder, but let's not act like Mount's a bad player. I didn't think he was the profile we needed, but he's a good player, and Ten Hag sees something in there, and he's very young as well. Thank you very much, Luke, for the super chat. Eric Ten Hag, this window can't get any worse. Glazers hold our beer. You know what? Mount is done. It's mad because we get told this morning we're putting in a bid for Onana and that could be done in the next 24, 48 hours, to then saying, United actually are now looking at alternatives to Onana. United don't know if they can get a goalkeeper. And then we get told United are putting a 35 million bid for Rasmus Hojlund today, for then Laurie Whitwell to say, no, United aren't going for Rasmus Hojlund, he's too expensive. It's like, so one source is saying we're going to sign Hojlund and Onana and we're putting in bids. And another source is saying, no, Ten Hag can wave bye-bye to Hojlund. Ten Hag can wave bye-bye to Onana. United aren't going to get their targets. it's completely this, that as well. It's crazy to think that if we had competent negotiators and owners and we got players that wanted to come to United for Ten Hag, we'd have got Onana, Kim, Mount, Caicedo, Hojlund, Hurst. Yeah, and that would have been a very good summer as well. But look, I actually don't think Mount will flop. Some people are saying, Alice, look, Mount's going to flop. Mount's going to be rubbish. I don't think Mount will flop. Do you know what? This is a shout here. I think he'll play in the Carabao Cup. Kobe Mainoo, the fact that Sedan Iqbal's gone as well, Kobe Mainoo could have a bit of a Garnacho-esque season. I really do. I think so. One search checking something. What was I saying? I think Kobe Mainoo could have potentially. It's harder, I think, when you're in midfield than as a winger, in a sense. But I think Kobe Mainoo could have maybe a Garnacho-esque. Because Ten Hag, I definitely got a plan for Mainoo. Apparently, Ten Hag's been telling Mainoo to revise this, to do this. Apparently, Ten Hag's been giving Mainoo a lot of the plans that a lot of the other academy players aren't getting, and encouraging Mainoo to do this and encouraging Mainoo to do that. So part of me thinks that Ten Hag does have an interesting plan. Mainoo resembles Caicedo in style of play and person. Yeah, I think he's a little bit more. I don't know. I know it's really basic to compare Kobe Mainoo to Pogba, but I think Kobe Mainoo's more of someone that will be in that Eriksen role than that Casemiro role. If you actually look at him, he's 18 years of age, Kobe Mainoo, so he's not someone you'd expect to regularly be playing for a couple of years anyway, but he could really break through. I'll just upset that. But as you can see, 18 years of age, 2005, he's only just turned 18. He is so young. But I mean, these are his stats, essentially. Obviously not first team stats. He did play 10 minutes in the Premier League, 17 minutes in the FA Cup, and he was decent in the FA Cup, to be honest, weren't he? He was decent, I remember that. But basically, when Mainoo's played, he's played 11 games at DM, so he can be like Caicedo. He can be like, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Caicedo, a little bit of Pogba, but he's more, for me, he's someone that's good on the ball. He's someone that you want to play next to Casemiro. That's the kind of player he's going to be. He's actually centre forward right mid, but as you can see, sort of mostly played as a box-to-box kind of player. But, he's a special talent, Kobe Mainoo. And Sedan Iqbal was really impressive in pre-season, but I'm excited to see what happens to Kobe Mainoo in pre-season. And I thought I had my screen shared with you guys. I was just talking like, oh, look, you can see here. This is Kobe Mainoo's stats. I was literally talking for like 3 minutes, thinking, I was circling things on my screen, thinking you can see it. 18 years of age, quite tall. Can play 11 games as attacking midfielder, 20 games as centre midfielder, 11 games as DM. Definitely a box-to-box for me. I haven't watched enough academy to be like, a Kobe Mainoo expert. Kobe Mainoo. I keep calling him Kobe. It's Kobe. Kobe Mainoo expert. But, yeah. I just read the Glazer family arrested in Qatar on suspicion of being raging nonsense. That's quite funny. I just read that. 11 days to the first friendly, more Pogba-esque as well. But it's really exciting to think, what the future lies of Mainoo. He's one of those players that he's just special. And I'm excited to see what he does on pre-season. Really excited to see, how many opportunities he gets on pre-season, what he does on pre-season. I think he's that player that to watch on pre-season. The new signings you want to watch on pre-season, but I think Mainoo, if there's an academy player I'm most interested for in pre-season, I'd probably say Mainoo. Ahmad will be interesting, but we like Mainoo, someone that's coming through and I think is potentially exciting. Is there anyone? Let me know in the chat before I end the live stream. Is there any player coming through that you're most excited to see in pre-season? Mark Gerardo could potentially get opportunities. He's been quite good. Alvaro Fernandez off the back of the good loan. A few players off the back of a good loan, like Amad Diallo. But I think for me, 100%, I think Kobe Mainoo is that guy that I would say I'm most excited to see in pre-season. Some people saying Ahmad. With Alvarez in at left, Luke goes back, and Martinez DM in case Casemiro with Alvarez. Alvarez. Am I being stupid? Oh, yeah, no, I am being stupid. Sorry. I know what you mean. I lost my head for a second. You meant Alvaro Fernandez. That's what you meant. I was like, what? Ahmad. A lot of people saying Ahmad. Facundo Palestri really good on preseason. Facundo Palestri needs a good loan. And not sending him to that Spanish club that plays boring football. Facundo Palestri needs to go on loan to a side that's going to attack and play nice football. He needs to go on loan to a Benfica, a Brentford. I don't know if he'll get a loan that good, but that's what United need to do with Facundo Palestri as well. Ahmad and Maino are the big ones, 100%. Charlie McNeil could be interesting as well. But yeah, I think Ahmad and Maino, I think we agree on that. Listen, people, I am going to wrap up today's live stream. We have been live for a good hour now. I do want to say thanks to everyone for watching today's live stream. The last 20 minutes, I've been fully with it, but there was a 15-minute period from like minute 15 to minute 30 where Alice was, I don't know why, I was starting to fall asleep. So hopefully I wasn't just waffling random stuff that made absolutely no sense for 10-15 minutes. So hopefully it came out fine. But this was quite a good live stream. I will be back live tomorrow night, so do smash the like, do subscribe. Hopefully some interesting news comes out tomorrow, because the news at the moment is just like repetitive, contradictory. The news at the moment is one source says one thing, another source says the complete opposite. You don't know what to believe. It's repetitive. It's boring. Just give me new owners, please. Thank you. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. See you next time. Bye.